So in my previous video I went through the first section of für Elise right hand only. Now I'm going to look at what the left hand does there and probably also put the hands together. It is not as difficult as you might think. The left hand in this part doesn't really do very much, and mostly what it does is in between what the right hand does, if that makes sense. Okay, so your left hand starts here. Sorry, just adjusting the screen there. Your left hand starts here. So my pinky is on A, not the A nearest to middle C, but the one below. So A, the bottom space of the bass clef. And the left hand initially plays three notes, A, E, A. So that's, and the only really sensible fingering is 5, 2, 1. So that's what the left hand does, A, E, A. If you can stretch an octave, that's of course very useful. If you can't, don't worry, you're still probably able to go 5, 2, and then you sort of roll up to the A. So even if you can't play all three at once, you still roll up like that, A, E, A. But if you can stretch an octave, that's useful, because what happens then, keep your fingers opened out, whether or not you can actually stretch the octave, keep them opened out, and move down here. So you're moving, your pinky is moved from A down to E, and you're going to play an octave again, but this time you're going to leave out the intermediate note, so you're going to go 5, 1. So obviously very useful if you can stretch an octave, because then you can play it legato. If you can't, you just sort of roll again like that. And we will hopefully be putting some pedal in at some stage, so that will help, that will give you the legato if you can't do it with your fingers. But again, the left hand plays three notes, but it goes E, E, G sharp, like that. So the fingering here is 5, 1, and then you reach over your thumb. I strongly recommend second finger. You may, if you're used to playing scales, you may find yourself bringing the third over. You may even prefer the third just because it's a longer finger, so it may feel easier to you to play that with the third. That's fine if so. It feels easier to me to play it with the second, but whichever you like. 5, 1, 2, or 5, 1, 3. Now, this gets a bit confusing at first because, as we know, the hand, our brain and our hands like repeating patterns. So once you've done 5, 2, 1, you'll find yourself wanting to go 5, 2, 1 there, but you don't. You go 5, 1, 2, or 3. After you've done this one, the E, E, G sharp, you simply go back to the first one, A, E, A. So I'll just play that. And that's the timing. It's like I'm counting beats now, not finger numbers. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. So there's quite long rests between each phrase, but use that gap to move your hand. You don't need to hold on to the last note. Don't make it too staccato, but don't hold on to the third note of each phrase. So I'll do that once again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and this time you stay here and you play it again. So you're not doing the A phrase, then the E phrase, then the A phrase, then the E phrase. As I always say, it's more like a sandwich. The A phrase is the bread, the E phrase is the filling. So I'll do all that with proper counting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 3, and 1 and 2 and 3, and 1 and 2 and 3. And that's all the left hand does in this first section. If you repeat it, then you repeat all that. Now, I am going to try putting the hands together for this. As I said, it's not as difficult as it may sound, because mostly the hands don't play together. They do play together on certain notes. Let me play you the beginning. So you remember your fingering from the right, the one I recommend, 4, 3, 4, 1, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 1, 3, 2, 1. And I've got my left hand all prepared there. If you can, if it's comfortable to spread out your fingers for the octave shape, so much the better. If you can't, don't worry. So they're only going to play a note together in this first phrase when the right hand hits its last note. Watch. Okay, so it's... And what happens then is, remember this phrase, it'll be like a continuation of what the left hand does. So we've got... And then here... I'll stop there for a second. So while the right hand is playing, that's when you need to move your left hand. Watch again. Right hand moves, now left hand moves. Together, left, left. Together, left, left. I'll just do that once more before going on. Takes a bit of practice because both hands have to move, but at least you don't have to do lots and lots of notes together. Okay, so let's try once more, and this time I'll carry on. Okay, and I'm going to repeat all that. Okay, so that's all of our first section repeated and with both hands. So I'm going to stop this video there, and a bit later on I'm going to make another one about the next section. But I think there's plenty there for you to get your teeth into. So that's the end of that video.